it's from a kid's story, whatever. But I use that as a talisman for my Holy Guardian Angel operation. And I would consecrate it with abramelin oil. I would consecrate it with the blood, as we know. And during my twice daily rituals, as I was doing the 93 days of this operation, and toward the end, after I had completed the operation, I built and consecrated the 4 Enochian tablets, put them on my table of practice, and did a ceremony where I essentially read the keys and charged the object by placing the tablets upright on the table with the letters facing inward towards the talisman, and then did the same thing going around with the letters facing outward as a way of charging it with that energy, combining it with what I had consecrated it with my individual will and the Holy Guardian Angel, turning them around, doing the same thing as a way of sending it out and sending a shockwave out of my own personal will and establishing myself in a way to manipulate the universe around me and manipulate causality. It was fairly elaborate. This picture's on Facebook. But yeah, and I've written about it quite a bit. And people who are interested can see that. You have to become my friend on LiveJournal, which I don't think I think maybe one of the last people in the universe that uses. But there is actually a fairly interesting occult presence on LiveJournal, just because it's a form of blogging that's been around long enough and people are established in their ways. It's gotten a little deserted lately, but that's not to be surprised. And the other really important thing is temple space. Like the temple space itself, which seems basic, but it really isn't. And I know I've struggled with this a lot myself. I really do think you need, I mean, when you're beginning, it's like improvising. You can improvise a room. You can cover stuff up. You can create a space in whatever. I strongly recommend that people do cover stuff up. Don't just do it in the room as it is. Cover everything with sheets. Anything that might distract you. You don't want to just be like in your living room looking at your DVDs and trying to conjure a spirit. It's not that it's not going to work. It's going to go badly. You're going to get bad information. Equally, I think that as you progress in your magical career, the temple space becomes more and more important, simply because you have made contact with a certain number of spiritual beings, and then you become susceptible to them because they're aware of you now. Whereas as a starting magician, those entities aren't aware of you, so there's no way for them to really decide to fuck with you. They don't even know who you are, so why would they? Whereas later on, when maybe you've even fucked with them a couple times, or you've done shit with them, or you've confronted them about different things, or you've thrown out or I am certainly one for throwing rocks at hornets' nests in a magical situation. That's kind of what I do. So I have never been able to, even the last place that I lived, where I was renting a room in a house, most of the information that I got was bad information when I was trying to do evocations in that room. Just because I've got the energy of the other people in the house, I'm in a pile of my own stuff. I don't have a separate space. It's just an altar in the corner of the room, and it didn't work out for me. I think it probably would work out if someone was starting out, but I've pissed off enough non-organic beings to not want to fuck around in a makeshift temple situation. Also, the temple is when we come back to the material investment, this is a sign. Are you devoted to this or not? Are you taking this seriously or not? Is this a hobby, or is this what you do? If this is what you do, you will invest the money and the energy to get the room, get the space, have it separate, and have it consecrated to your purpose. If you're just fucking around, well, fine, fuck around for a little while, and then you'll probably forget about it. How important is this? People have this idea. I remember I had someone in my life was very upset about the way that I'd set up my apartment when I had the one bedroom, because I had the bed in the living room. Oh, God, you're not supposed to have the bed in the living room. People have a certain way of the way things are supposed to be set up. But the reason was I had the separate one bedroom was my temple, and also a gym, because I have a lot of athletic equipment. So I kept it as I kept a body temple metaphor thing going on. And whatever else you use that space for, it should be part of that. I use that space for working out. I use that space for meditating on my stories. When as a writer, I'd go in there to brainstorm, to think, to be creative. You want that to be the space where you're being creative, you're focusing on your own stuff, building yourself up, either educating yourself or doing rituals to educate yourself. The more you put that energy in that space and have those events take place in that space, the more that space becomes imbued with your own personal creative intent. And that's key to making these rituals work. And plus, having a separate temple space just makes it so much easier to prepare for rituals and clean up for rituals. You have a lot less work to do.